Hi everyone, thank you for making it out. It's been a very, very long night, but it's almost over. My name is Mangana, and I'm a rising junior studying information systems. I'm one of your current graphic designers, and I'll be running to be your 2025-2026 vice president. If you told 18-year-old me that she'd be standing in front of an audience running for vice president of FOSTA, she'd probably stare at you in the corner. The girl who can't speak in front of a crowd without passing out is running for president or vice president. I even remember being so scared coming to the first GBM and leaving early because I was too anxious to properly introduce myself to anyone. However, slowly but surely, I found myself being drawn to FOSTA, and I couldn't get enough of it. I joined AKA, and I forced myself to be the extrovert that I knew I wasn't, and I met some of the people in my life today that I couldn't even imagine living without. But before I continue on about my plans and why you should vote for me, I know I've got some explaining to do. Some of you may or may not be surprised to see me running today because I know I said I wasn't going to. However, as the end of my term kept creeping up on me, something just kept pulling me back into this org. While scrolling through all my graphics I've created for FOSTA and crying to Tristan about our term ending, I realized something really important. I wasn't upset about no longer being a GD. I was upset about having to step away from an environment that comforted me when I first got to college. I was upset that if I stepped down from being on board, it felt like I was walking away from the person I grew into. FOSTA has given me the community I've walked for my entire life. The warmth and support that surrounds this org like a blanket has kept me here for the past 2 years. I found comfort in my ates and kuyas, who I admire deeply, and I've met some of my closest friends. FOSTA has not only given me such a loving environment, but as well as opportunities I could have ever dreamed of having. I directed and wrote my first play at the Rose. I was even able to design a banner, sweatshirt, and a new logo. So how could I ever walk away from an org that has given me so much? Walking away would be leaving a piece of myself behind, and that is why I'm choosing to run again. As vice president, my primary goal would be to As vice president, my primary goal would be to preserve and strengthen our familial community. I want to build upon the foundation laid by past board members to create an even more welcoming experience so no one ever feels like they don't belong and leaves the GPM early as I once did. We emphasize family in FOSTA because that's truly what we are. No family is perfect, but that's the beauty of it, and we get to see all versions of each other and love every version. With that in mind, the vice president is in charge of many delegations. However, a big role is spearheading the Ate Kuya program, or better known as the AKA program. What an honor it would be to help create relationships like the ones in my life given to me by this very same program. I want to keep the program accessible for commuters by keeping the online options for those who cannot make it to campus so that they can foster these relationships just as easily as those who do not live on campus. A potential idea I would also love to incorporate is planning events outside of the campus for potential bigs and littles to go on with. This could be done in a FOSTA Goes manner in which I would collaborate with the sports board in planning so that these bonds are not just restricted to within the school premises. This could also be a part of the AKA games that I hope to incorporate again, as I believe spending more time with your lineages can strengthen these bonds and create a lifetime of relationships. Shout out to cookies for always wanting to eat. I would also love to bring back adoptions in the spring as well for transfer students or those who just didn't get the chance to be a part of AKA in the fall, so they can get a fair chance to meet their potential matches and create everlasting friendships. As vice president, I would also love to incorporate more routine checkups on the overall opinions of the general body by conducting bi-weekly surveys on what events they'd love to see more of, or even any concerns that they have. This would be an anonymous questions box that only the PPP would have access to in order to protect the GBM members, but also to benefit the org as a whole on what we can do better. I would also want FOSTA to focus on more service events this upcoming year, as philanthropy has always been a passion of mine that I've admired in this org. By reaching out with external orgs or even collaborating with local ones within our school, we can build a stronger community outside of our own and help those with the many hands. Lastly, I would want general body members to not only feel like they have a say, but to also leave a mark on FOSTA. That is why I would love to collaborate with a new media team on marketing media made by our GPM members to foster a supportive community. This would be similar to the idea of FOSTA Creates, but with less responsibility and dedication from the GPM members. There are so many talented individuals within forward, I know that with the discipline I've learned this last year and the growth I've had, I can make these ideas a reality as a vice president. Before I close, I want to express my gratitude to my board for persevering through a challenging year. Thank you to my friends for their unwavering support, to my coach Tristan for collaborating on nearly 100 plus graphics, and to Madam Media Kelsey for keeping us on schedule, and especially to After Rose for believing in me even when I didn't believe myself. I truly wouldn't be standing here today without her endless encouragement. I will do my due diligence in living out the School of Rose pipeline. Thank you, Foster.